But call the meeting to order. My name is Jim Everhart. I'm the chairperson. We have in attendance today Chris Cretan, Frank Hollingsworth, and Bruce Hess. Our member Diane Tyson is not available today. And we also have from the township, we have Charlie Thomas and okay. How do you say that? Leesbank, okay. Leesbank, okay. And we have nobody here, no attendees. Okay, all right. So I think that's it. So let's stand. Everybody can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Has everyone read the minutes of the June 28th meeting? Yes. Okay. Do you have a motion to approve? Big motion to approve. Okay. Second? Second. Okay. All in favor? All right. Minutes are approved. Public concerns and comments. And we have nobody online. We have nobody here. So I guess that'll be it. Okay. Reports.
What's going on as far as I know, baseball. Baseball's over. I would imagine fall ball will be starting soon. Usually in August, fall ball starts, but we'll start hearing something from them.
Okay. All right.
About the baseball, people are going to ask questions about. I sent them an email after the last meeting, letting them know that Smoketown signed a 2-year lease, that they'll probably still have that field for additional years, and I didn't get a response.
So they still have a 2-year lease on the.
Diane reported that Smoketown still has a 2-year lease, so the ball fields will still be available for CV until late. I was unaware of that, but I said that. That's when the new schools will be ready. You know, I think that's probably the big thing.
Yeah.
Year and a half, 2 years ago, and they're still not done. And they're saying that they're signing in front of the middle school there. That it's going to be open in the fall. I don't see how it was like on the outside. Not unless they're like over at the other school where they have rats running around and no air conditioning. That's cool.
Okay. All right. Nothing else for recreation then. Grounds, buildings, and trails.
The cameras are delayed a little bit. We're looking at within a week or two. They did report that it was supposed to be mid to late July. Our IT department checked with the manufacturer today, and they said it's going to be at least 1 or 2 more weeks due to waiting on some parts. So hopefully by the next meeting we have the cameras in. You all have a chance to stop by Flory Park. The playground equipment is complete and good. Lots of room around the swing set, shouldn't be a problem there. Lots of room around the swing set, that shouldn't be a problem. Absolutely. Except for stupidity. That's all we always have to figure that out.
Yeah. Well, you have to assume that. Yeah.
Also, Troy's just doing normal maintenance, summer maintenance around the works. And the last thing, I'm still working with the engineers on design for the pavilion at Lafayette Park. Get the design done this year, and hopefully the board of supervisors approve the building of it next year. Wait and see. They're going to get cost estimates, and like I said, we're still waiting to decide. That's it.
Okay. All right. The CV recreation, a regional recreation program. How
Sorry, just tardiness.
Yeah.
I think we can probably change that now to East Lampeter Township Recreation Program.
Okay.
We have posted an advertisement to hire a recreation director. So we're anticipating getting resumes over the next several weeks and doing interviews, hopefully get somebody on board. First quarter of the year, maybe, get them started with setting up programs for next year.
Wow. And unfortunately, wasn't here last time, the minutes implied that there was, I mean, you were gonna contact the school district, are they not interested in proceeding, or are that's still just open?
They're still very cooperative, and we expect to have close relationships so that we can use their facilities for
Okay.
programs.
But it'll be just an East St. Peter Township program at this point.
Right, the issue became that from DCNR's program, that if it wasn't two municipalities, then you couldn't have a circuit rider agreement. So, and the school district didn't count as a municipality. So we either have to do it on our own or not do it, and the supervisors want to do it, so we're going to do it.
Decide how it's gonna be funded? Just
It's going to be funded by the township.
by new tax or just going to get out of the general budget, or how you do it?
Well, we had budgeted contribution to the anticipated regional recreation program. So those funds we used for the costs associated with this year won't be anywhere near that much. And then next year, we'll probably have to budget a little bit more to fund the position in the programs.
One thing about it, it probably would be less hassle and maybe cheaper. There's, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah, you know, it's still open. It will be that, you know, if we have good programs going on and others in the school district are aware of it, they might start saying, hey, why can't we have some of this stuff too, or pay less than we have to pay to be in East Lampeter or things of that sort. So,
I guess I'm thinking about the 2 years and, or 2 or 3 years that we spent trying to go through this dance and trying to get somebody to be our partner, and now it's us, so it's the way it goes. So. Okay, do we have somebody else? Somebody else join us? All right. Okay, well, thank you for that. Any old business? Okay,
The only thing I report on, because it's ongoing, the Greater Heritage Pathway is still moving ahead, going strong. And we're still shooting for that September ribbon cutting ceremony at the end of the month. So
I noticed that there, every time I go past there, I look down at from the Route 30 and I noticed that it's you're starting to look like something.
piece that they want to put rating wise due to having vehicles driving.
Yeah, I understand. I was thinking about, boy, as soon as they have it figured out, people get out there hot rodding around. So, yeah,
There's going on a lot of with this heavy stuff. So
yeah.
we're still going out there. I saw people out there walking last week. But the contractor doesn't get the news, and that's what they've seen about there. But they're just looking around about. So pretty much moving forward.
The like trail part of that is still in the future, correct? Next year?
The trail's going in the same time the road begins.
It is, okay.
Yep. Yep, that's already probably blacktop from Oak Grove Road. The whole way out to the bridge, stop short of the bridge. And of course, they'll make that connection once they're done with the bridge, but then just past the bridge, it's out to the roundabout, and they're working on it now. The roundabout out to Greenfield too. So yeah, it's all going to be complete at the same time.
Wow, that's exciting. That's good. That's very good.
We have guys then or? Don't know.
that's not fun at this point. We did the point The College of Health Sciences out there. We did apply for DCNR funding in the spring to try to get money to do that. And then the board just authorized us to apply for Commonwealth Financing Authority funding for the same thing. Although we're hopeful that we'll get DCNR money, we don't expect to get all that we would need. So we figure another iron in the fire won't hurt. So that'll be submitted. It's CFA's Commonwealth Financing Authority Multimodal Fund Program. And that'll be submitted before the end of this month. So maybe if we get both, we'll have enough to do it all the way out to guys.
Good. Any new business? Okay. And then we have, if there's no new business, public comment, after we have a comment from our person or person attendee. Yeah.
Pretty frame there.
Yeah, it's just a freeze frame. Okay, is there anything else anybody wants to bring up?
I had a question, and this doesn't have to do necessarily with the park, but in the kind of way it could. I see that they're, one of the supervisors said they're going to try and maybe get more apartments in here, open up some space to put more apartments in for housing and stuff in the township and different things. And with the last meeting or something like that, he said about their studies coming in or something like it.
There's a housing plan being prepared. That's been underway since May or June, forget how long. So basically studying the housing condition in the township and hopefully get recommendations out of that effort on what the needs are going to be going forward and how we can meet those needs.
Okay, I was just curious, they've been, in this last year, a lot of apartments went in East St. Peter Township in the houses being over there high, putting that addition on, and then down here at Rockville and stuff. Is there anything being done maybe to help by the township, maybe changing an ordinance or being a little more fussy about when all these places come in, they're going to overcrowd already crowded park conditions and stuff, and about trying to get more land or make them put something in when they put a development in. I know now they don't have to. Or it seems like we're overcrowding that. We're going to be overcrowding our schools and different things right now. Schools aren't built yet. They're going to be too small. We keep, more people coming in. If there's any plan to maybe trying to alleviate that a little bit.
I think there are a lot of assumptions in the statement you just made.
There are a lot of assumptions, yeah.
So I would not agree with.
Well, I talk to a lot of people around township. A lot of people around township kind of feel that way. You got to be careful that we don't turn it into something that they don't really want to do.
Yeah. The approved, you're talking about projects that have been approved that haven't been built yet.
Yeah, or even new is when they let them come in, you keep, there's something, but maybe I misunderstood the paper saying about there's commercial property here, it could be used, but better use just being sitting there and doing nothing, maybe putting housing in, help housing the area and stuff. Just have to, if they're thinking at all about, in the
I think
future.
that's why we're actually study it, look carefully and
Yeah.
make decisions.
Okay, based upon, it has to be taken that into, because right.
Every land development, subdivision or land development project has to comply with the park and open space requirements of the ordinance, which requires them to either provide land for parks and recreation or dollars in lieu of land to provide parks and recreation. So
They're getting, if East St. Peter's going to be doing all this for the whole district, and they're going to come over. It's really going to crowd, maybe crowd things depending on what we're doing. Need more and more people all the time, coming in. If we're not getting any more park space, money's one thing, space, as far as acreage and stuff for the parks. Like they would come and asking about baseball diamonds and things like that. For the next 2 years, we're okay, but after 2 years that they sell the school, that's more property they're not going to have. There'll be more people, maybe in the district, and just what the plan was there. There's a plan to try and alleviate overcrowding before it happens to the point that there's no fields now, and if we keep having more and more people coming into the district, so even more crowded.
I mean, I would assume that we could, and Hutch, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that part of the housing plan might, that they've been talking about might might at least raise that issue of, oh, well, you know, there's gonna be X number of new residents and we're gonna have to accommodate them with additional recreational facilities and park space. And we would, I assume, be at least informed about that, you know, or know if be aware of that.
Yeah, I don't know that the housing plan will directly address that issue.
Okay,
Typically, the plan's gonna look at, there's a housing crisis. I mean, I don't.
yeah, I don't think there's any question about that, yeah,
Anybody here, but there is a housing crisis, not only here, but across the country.
sure.
And so the board wanted to look at, what are the needs here locally going forward? That'll get folded into more comprehensive planning effort after the housing plan is prepared. So
I really applaud
they're going
them.
to get into the infrastructure and the needs that go along with future development.
I have to admit, I was very proud of East St. Peter Township. When I read that story yesterday, I thought that's very exciting that East St. Peter Township is taking a leadership role in that. So I thought that was great. So, but yeah, I mean, then if we need to address it, I mean, then the question is, at some point, when the plans are a little more finalized, is there any need for us to revisit the plan that we have? Because I mean, think of all that has changed since
Park
we
and
have,
Rec plan,
yeah.
it's still pretty fresh, I mean, in relative terms. So
Well, I'm just even thinking if it like, would it be, is that something that would be appropriate to call them back and say, hey, how much would it cost to take another look at things just in light of the new realities? I mean, think of it, it was even done before COVID, you know, I mean, it's like, think how much has changed since we interviewed people and since we did all those things. I guess what I'd say is I'm just raising the issue. It might not be a bad thing to at least think about and say, oh, Jesus, or any, you know, because I remember that was one thing I was a little frustrated about. They kind of addressed in that plan. I remember asking specifically, do we have enough park lands? And they addressed that. But I don't know, I didn't get like, I felt like a real definitive answer, like, yeah, you do, or no, you don't, or anything like that. And I know that's not the nature of their business to do that, but.
We've got an undeveloped park that's designated.
But the other thing I'm wondering about is, I'm also wondering about, do we need something in different places? I mean, you know, you can't pick up, we took the Gibbons Park because it was available. And that was great, but as there, you know, these are some of these areas are in different, are not near some of the other parks. So is there anything else we should be doing? So.
I think there are some recommendations in the plan that talk about areas to look at for adding park space.
Yeah,
Basically half of the acreage at Torrey Park that's undeveloped. Well, that's it. And there were other areas that are identified in the plan that ought to be added.
yeah, okay,
I would think this East Lampeter Township rec thing would help you be more efficient in using the space that you have and the facilities that you have within the township also. Because if you have organized play, you get more people involved, or organized programming. You know, instead of people just wandering out and using the park, now there's a structure that'll get better use out of it. I think.
I think there'll be more use. And yeah, it'll be organized in that.
Bike lanes and all that stuff is just icing.
All things that are mentioned in the plan.
yeah. Okay,
just to clarify something that Chris said, maybe I misunderstood, but we're not doing recreation programs for the district. We're doing it for East Lampeter.
I know. But a lot of the people that are coming in, how many of these apartments are bringing in right now are in East Lampeter? A lot of them, good. Fair amount of them, the ones over here I put in and the ones here at Rockville. Imagine in a few years, Rockville's going to come back and ask for more. They haven't yet, have they, as far as more apartments?
They don't,
They're in East Lampeter, yeah.
they don't exist. You're talking about them like they exist now. They don't.
They don't exist, but they're coming, yeah.
And they show up. It's gonna take years for all of them to be developed.
But if we want to, I just think if we want to think ahead or something like that a little bit too, it doesn't hurt to think ahead too, more than just once they're here, then think about it, think ahead, try and maybe stay ahead of the game. That was my thought.
Yes, as they thought about. At the,
Well, again, all those developments as they come in, they're gonna have to pay the appropriate park and recreation fee if they don't provide actual land for park and recreation.
And they are, the one I think I was wondering about Rockvale, since that's a reuse of an existing facility, they have to pay that fee again, correct?
They will, because they're adding dwelling units.
We'll put a park in that area.
Yeah.
And they'll have, just like Greenfield North is doing, they'll have some of their own amenities
Yeah,
available that are
sure.
recreational nature. So in some sense, they're sort of taking care of their own population in those ways as well.
Okay.
My thought was always just my thought, maybe push them a little bit more in that direction and just giving a little bit of money, or how much money they're giving, what would be. It's probably less expensive for them. I don't know how much they have to give, the proportion, how much they have to spend here towards parks and recreation, just to put some space in. Space is probably just as important as the money sometimes, for what we have in the limited park space we have. Push them more along that line. Sure that if they give me this amount of money or give me some space, they probably give me money. I think that'd probably be.
Yeah, there's certainly an evaluation that goes on their side of the table. I think my recollection with Greenfield North is that for all the units altogether, when they're eventually put in, it's like $150,000 that they'll be contributing.
that's what for.
And they already have a track record of. Yeah. Greenfield, let's face it, already has a track record of building in its own facilities quite a bit, so.
Right, they've got the whole trail system and the ponds over there. Yes.
Various playgrounds, different spots, so.
I noticed. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff good. They have a lot of good going over there. Okay. Anything else? What?
Make a move.
Okay. You hear a second? Okay.